what we want to do is unhook from the fantasy. The fantasy is another way of saying like the future that you created in your head about where this relationship was going. A part of the grief is not just grieving the person, not just grieving the patterns, but grieving the potential, the marriage, the kids, the white picket fence, the life that you imagine in your head you would have with this person. Welcome to Dating Deja Vu's YouTube channel, the channel where we look at your patterns, your pitfalls, and your personal growth in modern dating. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, marriage and family therapist and dating and relationship expert. And in today's episode, we're talking about how to get over a breakup. Yes, how to do it the healthy way rather than monkey branching, as I call it, from relationship to relationship in an effort to find healing. So if your dating and relationship love life looks a lot of bit of the same, it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. So let's figure it out together. What's up, Deja crew? Welcome back to another episode of Dating Deja Vu. I'm so excited to have you guys here. And today we're talking about a subject that I'm actually surprised I haven't really talked about before. Now, I talked about how to get over your toxic ex, but not how to get over a breakup. I'm like, duh, Christina. So we're going to be chatting about that today. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide of things that I've used with my personal clients to help them actually process a breakup. This all started with my own breakup. So let me just paint the picture for you. So before I'd done the work on myself, and I was in the it's you part of dating deja vu, I was really terrible to my partner at the time. I was projecting a lot onto him, and he moved into my house. We shouldn't have moved in together, but it was more of a situation that caused it, not necessarily a mutual agreement. And so he moved in, and then he had some feelings about it not being his house and this and that. So I created him like a video game room. And it had like his college he went to and his favorite sports teams and like did all of this decorating and all the things. And I don't know what I was yelling at him about. I was just probably putting down his character and being an absolute raging bitch. But finally, my constant bickering about him not being a man and I'm not your mom and this and that, he goes, fine, then maybe we won't be together. And I was like, what? No. I was so naive to the fact that people shouldn't put up with that shit the way I was treating him. And I go, fine, go. I don't fucking care. Oh my God, did I care? And he left. And that was it. That was how we broke up. And I was finally out of my rage fit. And then all of the emotions happened, boom, all at once. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up and cry. I would try to eat, couldn't even, I would dry heave over food. My body was just in survival mode. And all I wanted to do is crawl in a hole or go into my own hole of being drunk or hooking up with someone. But I knew this time, I said, wait a minute. I keep dating a very similar person and having very similar outcomes, and I'm acting in a similar way. So maybe this time we do this a bit differently. And I'm going to walk you through that process as well as things I've learned since then, because that was over 10 years ago. So there's some updated things that we can work on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want you to recognize that breakups are not just emotional. There's a biological thing that's happening in your body. Now, obviously, we get consumed with the emotion, which rightfully so. You've got to think about it. You've been talking to this person every single day. You've shared some of your most intimate experiences, intimate parts of yourself, obviously sexual experience. You have shared lives together, especially if you, like myself and that person, had moved in together. We began to kind of blend our friend groups, our friends. I had friends that hung out with him after we broke up. Let's talk about that. No, girl code. You got to be on my team. Just kidding. Anyway, but there's a chemical withdrawal too that happens. So just for you to understand, dopamine and oxytocin Our oxytocin is a chemical that is released when mothers are breastfeeding, and it's a way to attach and get close. It's our closeness hormone, right? It helps us build attachment. And so when we go through a breakup, dopamine, which is our reward kind of exciting hormone, and oxytocin drop, kind of like a drug, like you're withdrawing from a drug. And your body is not just grieving the person that you're grieving this pattern of the good morning text, or like if I was to break up, my husband and I were to break up now, I would grieve the pattern of him walking in, giving me a kiss, grabbing coffee, sitting down with me, talking about the dog, him making my dinner at night, him making my dessert at night, rolling over, giving him a kiss, having someone to go to dinner, like all of those things. That's so consumed. He is in every thread of my life. And so we're not just grieving the person, but we're grieving the pattern. And for a lot of women and men, we try to kind of outrun the heartbreak of a breakup. We will do everything we can to not feel it, when that's exactly what we need to do. We will go out, get attention from others. I had a recent call with someone and they said, oh, I would just put some like thirst traps on Instagram and boom, I'd have 15 people in my inbox. So we're getting that attention. We're finding that dopamine hit, right? In other ways, we will drink, we will drug, we will shop, we'll chop off our hair and cut bangs. Don't do that. We will have sex with other people. We will do everything we possibly can other than feel the breakup. And I want to normalize some ambivalence, or what we call in the psychology world, the cognitive dissonance that happens. So feeling two feelings about the same thing and opposing feelings. So you might know like this is the best thing for me, but also feel like your entire world is caving in. So we're going to just talk about all of the psychological aspects and how to get through it. And I hope for that person listening right now, like I want you to know, like it is okay to be sad. It is okay to feel like your world is crumbling. Because what I'm about to say might sound hurtful, but that world is crumbling. That story is through. And you're going to have to go through the grieving process in an effort to get out of it relatively unscathed and not allow yourself to take any of that hurt into new relationships. So when we go through a breakup, our inner critic, our Judge Judy, goes wild. That bitch shows up. If you're a woman, or if your inner critic is a woman, we'll call it a her, because I feel like she is. You're Karen, you're Judge Judy. I've had many people name their inner critic. You're Medusa, Ursula. I've had people like their stepmom's names, all of them. So you don't need to punish yourself to prove that you've learned a lesson, right? Or you don't need to punish yourself to like feel a sense of closure. I hear that all the time. And in the grief cycle, there is this bargaining that happens. And if you're someone who's like a perfectionist, you'll tend to internalize the breakup is somehow a personal failure of yours. You'll think like, what did I do wrong? How was I not enough? Was I not pretty enough? Was I not girlfriend, boyfriend enough? Did I not give enough? Right? And your inner critic is going to weaponize this, and it is going to tell you like, see, you're unlovable. Like you're not ready for love, or see, you picked a bad one again, or see, they don't want you again. And that inner critic will get louder and louder. And so that's where a lot of people will react poorly. And one thing I didn't even talk about in regards to reaction is reaching out to the person, right? Trying to, because that inner critic is so loud, trying to get some sort of validation from them that it's not you, that you're not wrong. And unfortunately, if it is a bad breakup, like that's not the place to go. Right? And really, even if it was a healthy breakup, it's not the place to go. You have to realize that your worth and what you deserve, your worth mainly has nothing to do with this breakup. Like you're worthy if you're with the person or not. But that inner critic wants to break down that worth. It wants you to feel shame and guilt and feel less than, right? Especially if it was a codependent relationship. So instead of bypassing it into like self-love, give that part of you a role. Okay. Give Judge Judy a role. Say, Judge Judy is feeling all of her insecurities that she thought that she didn't have because of this relationship, and recognize it. Recognize what role, sense of self-worth, whatever that is, that your inner critic gave you or said that you have because you're in the relationship. But that's what we take into therapy. Wow. I thought I was worthy because I was in this relationship, and when it ended, all that worth disappeared. I want to fix that. I want to fix that, right? Ask the hard questions to the role, like, what are you trying to keep me from? What are you trying to avoid for me? Usually that role, that inner critic role, is actually trying to protect you. I know it doesn't seem like that. It's kind of this concept of like, well, see, we were right anyways. Or sometimes we'll say the really mean thing to ourselves before someone else can in an effort to lessen the blow, because we assume other people think that. And that's true in breakups too. Not only do you have to deal with your own emotions and your own stuff, you're now trying to assume what everyone else is thinking about you. Like for me, because I was such a hot mess, I just thought, oh, his friends are like, oh, thank goodness, she is such a bitch, blah, blah, blah. They probably were. But in the moment, I was like, oh my God, why would they say that? Right? So now I'm making up all these stories, and my inner critic's like, see, you're probably right. You're a piece of shit, you know? So back up. When I get that critical role, we're going to ask it the hard questions, like, what are you trying to protect me from here? And usually it's trying to protect you from the hurt. And again, that's the thing we need to feel. I know that it's not going to sound fun. It's not fun. But pain is where growth can happen. And you've got to go through the pain in order to grow. Think of like, you've got to go through the pain of a bone healing in order to grow, right? In order for it to heal and be functional. Okay. So what we want to do is unhook from the fantasy. Now, the fantasy is another way of saying like the future that you created in your head about where this relationship was going. A part of the grief is not just grieving the person, not just grieving the patterns, but grieving the potential, the marriage, the kids, the white picket fence, the life that you imagine in your head you would have with this person. And so you can see here that the grief is compounding. You have the person, the patterns, the people, right? What you're thinking about other people, or maybe even losing some friends if they were good friends and didn't take both sides. So many people just stay attached to the potential. And well, what if I imagine that they were my person and I'm never going to find someone like them? And a lot of people stay attached to that person even when that partner is not present. And listen, mourning that future is valid. You are allowed to do that. Mourning the vacation, the wedding, the version of you that you thought was going to happen. It is grief worthy. You're allowed to do that. It doesn't make you delusional. It makes you loyal. It makes you loyal to that relationship and that idea. And your job now is to reassign loyalty back to yourself. Okay. So a reframe would be, I thought they were the one, becomes, it helped me clarify what I deserve, right? I can't tell you guys this enough. When you realize that when a relationship ends, or a situationship, or even a date, or a dating situation, when it ends, it has nothing to do with you. That is not your person. And we're constantly trying to fit that square peg into a round hole to make it work, rather than believing in the reality. Wow, well, we've broken up. There's a reason we've broken up. It has nothing to do with either of our worth. It has everything to do with us not being compatible. But if we're not compatible, then I have to believe someone out there is compatible with me, right? And when you remove your worth from that, the breakup, the transaction, all of the things, dating will get a lot easier for you. So, okay, breakup rules that actually apply to healing. One of my favorite things to tell people is you gotta feel. We are not doing the following though. We're going to feel the emotions. When you first go through a breakup, you're going to wake up and you're going to cry. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night, cry. You may not even be able to sleep, cry. You're going to try to eat, can't eat. You're going to go to work, cry. Like, I think of that time of my life. Thank God. Shout out to my mentor at the time, Christy. She has since passed. Love you. She was my mentor and my boss, and she let me be off work for a freaking week. And then when we had this like final talk to like finalize everything, and then we broke up basically twice. And then I had another week off, and she didn't even take away from my PTO. It was crazy. I love her so much. I miss her a lot. But I was just crying in a ball. Like, I was numb. And I told myself, feel. And you're going to have those cry. Now, I want you to recognize something. If you allow them to naturally happen, those bouts of pain, of sadness, they're going to last roughly 90 seconds. I promise you. Believe me. They will last 90 seconds. They will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That middle part is the thing we're anticipating. It's the high, heavy cry, right? My dog of 15 years, one of the longest relationships I've had in my life, passed away in December, and I cried. And it just hit me, boom, boom, like waves, boom, boom. But then, because I didn't hold on to the feeling of pain, I just naturally let it go. And I didn't numb out from the feeling of pain. I just naturally let it come. Eventually, the boom, boom, boom went boom, boom. Now it's weeks till I feel something. I actually got a little emotional about her this morning. And it's okay. So we need to feel. We're not holding on to the feelings. We're not pushing them away. We need to feel. Big thing I don't want you to do during this time is get fucked up, numb out, dissociate, get caught up in social media, right? Let's wait until or give your friend your phone to delete the photos, to block, to do all of that. Like, you should not, I want your body to function as it humanly is supposed to function and feel the emotions. It's very soothing for your nervous system to actually go through that. I know it doesn't feel soothing in the moment by any means, but I promise you, if you do that, you will get through it much faster, much faster. We're not going to force ourselves to stay in contact with that person. Now, that's going to be hard. You'll want, again, because something will remind you of them. Or for me, it was kind of like an open-ended breakup. When he's like, fine, I'm going. I'm like, fine, go. And then he's like, I just need some time. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, how much time do you need? So then I think like a week and a half later, that's when he was like, I'm done. I'm like, okay. I stopped talking to him. I deleted his phone number, blocked him, right? And that's really hard for people to do. They're afraid to block. They're afraid to remove the phone number. And I know that it's not a good feeling to do that. But if it works for you, if it helps you, right? Not seeing them, you obviously can mute them and all of that, but not seeing them, not having access to their phone number if you don't know it by heart, not being able to reach out to them, is, if it's helpful for you, I absolutely want you to be doing that. We need to just cut the cord, because if we keep the cord, we're keeping a sense of hope. And it's, as we said, there's a reason why the breakup happened. We're not going to force yourself to be friends, right? There's no need for this trauma bond to continue. You can create closure by cutting it off. Creating a clean break container. Again, no contact, digital detox, or physical environment reset. Yes, if you need to, move your fucking furniture, right? Buy some new pieces. Make that home back to you. When this was happening to me, this is the second breakup in the same home. That's so sad. Poor house. I've since sold that house and bought two, so we're good. But redecorate, kind of clean up your thing. Use rituals, like start rituals for yourself. So you can, like I said, delete the playlist, write a letter to them. If you feel the need to reach out to them, write a letter, then burn it. Even cleaning up your morning routine. So like I said, if it was me, where I sit on the couch currently when I'm doing like my journaling and reading in the morning, my husband comes right up to that place. Maybe I don't sit on that couch. Maybe I sit at the counter. maybe I stay in bed and do that reading, right? So I'm not only cleaning up my routine, I'm changing it. What we're doing is with feeling, with changing our environment, with creating new routines, we're creating a new blueprint for our brain. And we're also creating closure. We're closing that chapter. People really don't understand that closure does not happen with a conversation. How many people do you know who are like, oh, I just need the closure? And then they've had this closure conversation like 17 times. Like, obviously, that's not working. And even if they tell you the meanest things, I still have people do this closure situation. It's just holding on for dear life that someone will turn around. It doesn't happen. Closure happens with you. Feeling the feels, blocking, digital detoxing, deleting, reorganizing your routines, reorganizing your house, being supported, be with your people. I want you to make a list of individuals who can be there for you in different ways. So you have like that workout friend. That friend will take you to a yoga class, let you cry in the parking lot afterwards. You have the friend who the ride or die is coming over. She's going to bring you some dinner of something that you'll actually consume and watch a funny show with you because you need to laugh. You have that friend who you can talk shit about that person with. You have the friend who's spiritual maybe, who's going to help you reconnect to yourself. Make a list of those people. And I want you today, after listening to this, to reach out to them. And I want you to say, hey, I need help. Can we set up some time to meet and hang out and do the things? And you may cry. When this breakup happened afterwards, I was like, I need to get out of here. My really good friend Leanne lived in San Diego. It's one of my happy places. So I went to her house and I cried and I was sad. And she took me, we went to see neon trees at Humphreys on the Bay. We went in kayaks. We had little like charcuterie board. I had a little wine, but I wasn't drinking because I knew if I overconsumed, it would be a disaster. So I just had a little couple sips of wine and we did just a lot of activities, went to this art show. Like it was awesome. Then I actually came back a couple of weeks later and it was almost like I was a new person. Like I just felt better overall. And then I think I came back a couple weeks later. And actually, that's the weekend that I first messaged my husband on Tinder. Fun story. So, be with your people and have that list of people and be careful of the ones like, unfortunately for me, my mom was not helpful. She goes, I'm so sad. I'm going to miss him too. What? No, you don't get to miss him. No, mother. So also be aware of those people. Be aware of the people that you're going to reach out to make you feel worse. You know who they are. It's like you playing that sad song. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You're not broken, my babes. You are just in a rebuild phase. The breakup is not the end of your love life. It is really just a stepping stone in the right direction if you actually think about it. And allowing yourself time is going to be really incredibly important. Having your list of people, writing if you feel the need for closure or you feel the need to reach out, write those letters, burn them, right? Allow the body to process it. Again, process the emotions. Then as you're recreating your new normal, we're going to get a new sense of dopamine. Maybe you wanted to try pickleball and you didn't because they didn't like to be active. Go try some pickleball. Right? You wanted to go to that yoga class, go to the yoga class. Start to create new connections. What I ended up doing is I was sitting in the middle of my house. Oh, sorry, guys. I was sitting in the middle of my house that I owned. And this is the second breakup I had in this house. I was like, fuck this. Now, you have to realize that I was living in like suburbia Phoenix, which why? I didn't have kids. I made good money as a bartender. I was not bartending at this time. I made good money as a therapist. So not that bartending is bad. I absolutely love bartending and I would go back to it immediately. But I do this instead. So I kind of do bartending just without the booze. So I called my mom. This is something she did help me with. I said, hey, I'm moving out of my house. I'm going to find a renter and I'm moving to a high rise in downtown Phoenix because that's what I wanted to do. And it gave me this opportunity to do something that I wanted to do. So I packed up my house. Lo and behold, my best friend, one of her workers, because she owns a big corporate cleaning company, she needed a place to stay. Weird. So I actually made money and got that renter in within like a week or two of me moving out. I moved in with my mom, worked with a realtor, found this sick place on the 17th floor of this high rise that overlooked Camelback and Payasawa Peak, Phoenix Mountains. And around the same time, I started texting with Mark. Not texting, but like messaging on Tinder. Like a week or so later, went on our first date, right? And a lot of people would have thought, wow, 6 weeks is not usually the time frame of me and that person were together for about a year and a half. But because I did what I'm telling you, my heart was healed. And honestly, it was so healed. And because I allowed myself to experience it, I came to the realization of what was wrong. And I started working on myself during that time. During that 6 weeks, I had really dived in. Oh, I forgot that part, you guys. I called the therapist the day afterwards and like went to her, saw her, and was in her office for 2 hours the first session. Then I started doing the work on my spiritual connection. So mine and Mark's story, like we didn't get into a relationship until like what? March, April the next year. So we started talking in July, but we were just like a situationship. And that allowed me even more time. So you are not broken. Healing doesn't mean that you'll never think about them again. I don't really think about them, to be honest, but some people do. It means you no longer need them to define your story. You want your next chapter to be rooted in reconnecting to yourself. I cannot tell you how important that is. Once I reconnected to myself and my self-worth, like dating again was an incredibly different experience. I didn't get caught up on anybody, even when Mark and I decided not to continue dating because he wasn't ready for a relationship. I had put my time, attention, energy into this person for 4 months. And he's like, I don't want a girlfriend. I was like, okay, that's not my person. And I moved on with my life. It was so easy. And you don't have to get over them. You just need to come back home to you. Understand the flaws, the you part of the deja vu. Work on yourself if needed, and do the things that we talked about. They're very important, and you're important. Your healing is important. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you listen to my advice, I'd love to hear about your journey of healing in this breakup. We're not taking it, we're not making it personal about ourselves. We're not bargaining. We're going to catch that inner critic. We're going to give them a name, ask them what they want from us. Usually it's, I just want to protect you from the sadness. Let that inner critic know, I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel through this. My emotions can't hurt me. Not feeling my emotions are what is going to. That's what's going to hurt you. So feel those emotions. Don't hold on to them, right? Don't play the sad music. Don't reach out, but don't push them away. Don't hook up with other people. Don't drink yourself into a blackout. Just feel. Your emotions have a beginning, middle, and end. They are transient. They're about 90 seconds. We're going to digital detox. Have your homies over who can help you with that. We're going to not contact. If we need to speak to them, we'll write it out, burn it, obviously safely. Have your list of supports for different things. And then I want you to have a list of things that you want to try. New routines, new furniture, new activities. And then time. You're going to give yourself time. And you're going to listen to this podcast because I'm going to walk you through what the next steps look like. So that's it. If you guys are interested in setting up a call with me to help you get through this exact thing, you will find the Clarity Call link in the show notes below. And I just want you to remember, it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. Talk to you next time.